How you doing? I'm Artie Manfredi with Keller Williams, the Homeward bound group, and I'm joined here by Brett Fuqua with Stewart Title. Brett, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely, my pleasure to be here.
Just here to kind of discuss the basics of title insurance. Brett, what is title insurance?
Well, Artie, I think a lot of us are familiar with the typical standard insurance, like your homeowner's insurance, which typically covers, your fire loss, your any theft or damage to the property. Flood insurance, obviously, is needed for rising water. But title insurance is fairly misunderstood. Essentially, what it covers is any hidden hazards that are attached to that property. So we, as a title company, will make sure that that property, when the transaction happens, that clear title is there for the new buyer.
Excellent, excellent. So now, why is it really needed, and what exactly does it cover? When you say that, what exactly does it cover?
Yeah, good question. Why it's needed, as we all know, typically our homes are biggest and best investment. So you don't want to buy a property, for example, that has a lot of liens attached to it. Meaning, buying a property that's encroaching on another neighbor's property. You don't want to buy a property that has IRS tax liens, maybe mechanics liens that are attached to it, where you, as the new homeowner, would be responsible for that.
Sure, sure. And now, how much does something like that cost?
Well, Artie, that kind of depends on what the property is, the sales price of the property, and also what the loan amount is, because there are two policies that are issued when a purchase transaction happens. First policy is an owner's policy, and that basically protects the buyer, like we talked about. And depending on what the sales price of the property is, because we as an insurance company are responsible for that risk. So obviously the risk on a $100,000 property is a lot less than it would be on a $300,000 property, for example, $300,000 property. And then the loan amount, the lender policy that I'm referring to, the lender also wants to ensure that the money that they're lending on that property is free and clear of any liens, so that they're remaining in first lien positions should the owner default on the property, that they have a lien on the property that they're able to.
So in fact, there's actually two separate policies, is that correct?
That's correct, yes. An owner's policy, as I mentioned, covers the buyer and their interest, and the lender's policy, or the loan policy, covers the lender who's lending on that property.
Sure. Excellent. Now, I heard you say the word lien before. Can you explain to everyone who's watching what exactly a lien means and how it can affect you?
Absolutely, yeah. A lien is basically a claim or hold on a piece of property to secure monies or services owed on that property. So a lien that most of us are familiar with is a deed of trust or a mortgage, and that's something that the lender puts in place to, again, ensure that they're in first lien position. So that, again, if anything happens to that property, if the owner goes into default, that they're going to get that property back. But as I mentioned, also any services for that property. For example, a mechanics lien can be placed on a property. An example of a mechanics lien is a contractor comes in and does some work on a house. For whatever reason, the homeowner and the contractor disagree. At that point, the contractor can place a mechanics lien on the property, file that through the county, and that's a valid lien as well. Some other liens that you might be aware of are IRS tax liens, things along those lines, but it's essentially, again, just a collateral against the property.
Okay, so essentially, there are a lot of things that can put our investment in our lives at risk, and you guys are here to protect our interests.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Stewart Title, we've been around for 115 years. We are a national Fortune 500 company, and I feel it's important to mention because you want a title company that, if something does happen, claim against your property, you want a company that's going to be there, that's rock solid, and can, pay that claim if needed. Just like in comparison with, your auto insurance. If something, if you were to go out and get in an accident, you would want to make sure that your car is covered, and any damages that are covered in that accident. Sure. Same thing with title insurance.
Well, excellent, Brett. Well, thank you so much for taking time to help educate us on what title insurance is and everything that it covers. Again, I'm Artie Manfredi with Keller Williams, the Homeward Bound Group, and this is Brett Fuqua of Stewart Title, and thank you again.
Thank you.